What if I told you that this video didn't just show up in your feed by coincidence? It was meant to find you? What if I said that you didn't stumble upon these words accidentally, but were guided here, intentionally, by something far beyond your understanding? Out of the countless videos circulating online, millions, perhaps even billions, you chose to click this one. Or maybe it chose you. In a sea of distractions and noise, something quiet yet persistent led you here, to this moment. That's not a random occurrence. That's not luck. That's a divine appointment. You're here because something within you has been searching, not outwardly, but deep within. You've felt it, a stirring, a whisper in the quiet moments, a gentle pull in your soul, the sense that there's more to this life than what you've been experiencing, more to your existence than the routines, the roles, the masks. And let me assure you, you're not imagining it. This is real. And this message, these very words, they're not just information, they're a response to a prayer you may have forgotten you made, a signal to a heart that's been silently aching for meaning, direction, and change. Even if nothing around you has shifted yet, know this: the shift has already begun within you. The very act of being here right now, of choosing to listen instead of scrolling past, shows that you're already aligned with something greater than yourself. You've responded to the subtle nudge, to the quiet guidance of your intuition. You've responded to the soft whisper of your soul. That whisper didn't come from nowhere. It came from your inner knowing, the part of you that remembers your purpose even when your mind forgets. You may not feel fully ready. You might not have all the answers. You could still be filled with questions, doubts, and fears. But you're here, and that means you're ready enough to receive, ready enough to consider, ready enough to begin. And that's all it ever takes. You see, no one ever begins their true journey feeling completely prepared. We don't step into transformation because everything makes sense or because we feel qualified. We step into it because something inside us refuses to stay the same. We act on a spark, a flicker of belief that there's more ahead. And that flicker, it's been with you all along. It's the reason you've survived things that others might not have. It's the quiet strength that helped you carry on when everything around you felt like it was falling apart. It's what allowed you to keep dreaming, even when reality tried to convince you to stop. That flicker is your divine reminder. It tells you you haven't given up. Not completely, not truly. You're still holding on. You're still reaching forward. You're still yearning for something deeper. And that, my friend, makes you powerful beyond what you know. But power, if forgotten or neglected, can go unused. It becomes dormant. And the world is filled with people walking around asleep, reacting instead of creating, surviving instead of living. They drift from day to day, unaware of the immense power they hold within. But not you. You're waking up. You're starting to remember. You're beginning to recognize that you're not here just to exist. You're here to evolve, to rise, to shine. You don't have to wait for perfect timing. You don't have to wait until all the pieces fit neatly together. That's the illusion we've been taught. That action only comes after certainty. But in truth, action is what creates certainty. When you move with intention, when you step forward even in fear, you create alignment. You create momentum. And the universe? It doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to belief. It mirrors what you choose to hold within. If you expect delays, you meet delays. But if you begin to expect opportunity, expect blessings, expect guidance, you start attracting exactly that. This isn't wishful thinking. This is alignment in action. People who seem lucky aren't merely fortunate. They're tuned in. They've trained their minds to see possibility even in pain. They've conditioned their hearts to feel abundance, even in lack. And over time, their internal shift reshapes their external world. You can do this too. You already are. It begins with awareness. Awareness is the first transformation. When you begin to notice your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, you take back your power. You start choosing how to respond instead of reacting on autopilot. You stop repeating patterns that no longer serve you. You pause, you observe, you evolve. The moment you begin observing your own mind instead of being trapped in it, you become powerful. That's why your energy is already changing. You might not fully see it, but others will. You'll walk differently, speak differently. You'll begin attracting experiences that reflect the internal work you're doing, even if that work is invisible to the outside world. And make no mistake, the inner work is the most sacred work. We are taught to chase external success, to collect achievements, to gain validation. But real transformation doesn't happen when others applaud you. It happens when you can look in the mirror and feel proud, even if no one else notices what you've overcome. And I want you to ask yourself this. What if you didn't need anyone's approval to feel proud of how far you've come? What if you were already enough, not after the degree, the job, the relationship, or the healing, but right now? Yes, right now. Exactly as you are. You are worthy, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. Worthiness isn't something to be earned. It's something to be remembered. And that longing inside you, that deep knowing that you were meant for something more, it's not some romantic fantasy. It's truth. It's your inner calling reminding you of what you came here to do. You weren't born to merely survive. You were born to expand, to thrive, to love deeply, create boldly, and live fully. And the more you listen to that calling, the louder it becomes. It's not asking you to work harder. It's asking you to trust deeper. Trust yourself. Trust your journey. Trust the timing of your life. Even when the road ahead feels uncertain. Even when you're walking through shadows. Because sometimes it's in the darkness that our deepest light is discovered. Life doesn't always make sense. Sometimes it breaks us open in painful ways. But it's in that breaking that the light finds its way in. And yes, we resist it. We fight the discomfort. We want transformation without the pain. We want to evolve without shedding the old. But growth often comes wrapped in resistance. The discomfort you feel, that's old conditioning. That's your nervous system trying to protect you from the unknown. But safety isn't always aligned with purpose. Comfort isn't always growth. At some point, you'll need to release the narrative that says you're not ready. You'll need to rewrite the story that tells you to wait, that you're not enough, that your moment hasn't come. Because that story is outdated. That story has expired. It's time to start a new one. It's time to stop replaying the memories that wounded you and start imagining the moments that will heal you. It's time to stop hoping for miracles and start realizing you are one. Yes, you. Your presence here, listening to these words, means that something within you is awakening. Something sacred. Something ancient. Something true. And when you say yes to that, when you truly open yourself to receive, life begins to mirror that openness. Don't be shocked if things begin shifting after this. Don't be surprised if doors you thought were shut begin to open. Signs, synchronicities, sudden realizations, they'll show up. Not because they're new, but because you're finally tuned in enough to notice. And when you live from that level of awareness, life no longer feels like something that happens to you. It becomes something that moves through you, with you, for you. You become the author of your reality, not just the dreamer. But here's the key. You don't need to control every detail. You only need to master your focus. Because where your focus goes, your energy flows. Focus on lack, and lack grows. Focus on fear, and fear multiplies. But focus on gratitude, on possibility. That's when doors open. That's when new paths appear, ones you didn't even know existed. And they may not all open at once. They may not look the way you expect, but they open. Always, your energy creates ripples. When you shift internally, your outer world shifts to meet it. People will notice. Even if they can't explain it, they'll feel it. They'll sense your light, your clarity, your peace. That's not magic. That's alignment. That's the result of trusting yourself when it was easier to doubt. That's the reward for believing, even when no evidence was visible. You might think you've lost time. You might look back and see mistakes, delays, missed chances. But I want you to know, nothing was wasted. Every wrong turn taught you. Every setback shaped you. Every detour prepared you. You needed those lessons to become the version of yourself that's emerging now. So if you've ever felt behind, hear this. You're not late. You're exactly where you're meant to be, right on divine time. This moment, right now, is the beginning of a powerful new chapter. Not because you've figured it all out, but because you're willing to move forward anyway. This is your reminder. You weren't born to live a small, silent life. You weren't made to shrink to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You were made to shine, to rise, to take up space. Not someday, not when everything's perfect, but now, because the only thing between where you are and where you want to be is the belief that it's possible. So believe it, not because it's easy, but because it's true. Let it in. Let it fill your soul. Let it reach that part of you that's been silently waiting for confirmation, for permission, for a sign. This is it. This is your sign. And if you're still here, still listening, then deep down, you already know it. Now breathe. Close your eyes. Visualize the version of you who's already living the life you dream of. See their posture, feel their peace, sense their power. That version of you isn't far away. There's no distance between who you are and who you're becoming. Just a decision, a choice, to walk in alignment, to act from belief, to trust that you are worthy now, not later, not someday, but now. Because when you decide that, everything begins to change. Claim it right now. Your future self is waiting, cheering, already living in the reality you're stepping into. All you need to do is meet them halfway. And if doubt creeps back in, come back here. Let these words remind you, you are powerful, you are worthy, you are guided, you are never alone. You were meant to see this.